We are on what I am going to assume is going to be the last episode of this playthrough because I find out I found out that there's 5 endings to the game, but in one playthrough you're only able to get, well, I mean, if you go back to a save, you're only able to get 4 of them because there's one choice there's one thing you can do at the end of chapter 4 that if you do the certain thing, you can get one ending, and if you don't do a certain ending, you don't get an ending. So, or you'll get a different ending. You'll get one of 2 endings. So we've seen 2. We can do 2 more, and how the endings work is you have all the information or you don't, but it's who you talk to or who you use to talk and in what order you use them to talk. So let's go ahead. We've gotten the one ending where everybody pretty much died, which was the worst ending. And now we have gotten the ending where we found out Ferdinand was the serial killer, the killer of Kellogg's, and he died. But we also, in that ending, learned something quite interesting. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do ending number 3. And then we'll do ending number 4, and then I think that's probably where I'm going to call it, because I don't feel like replaying the game all the way up through chapter 4 to get just one more ending. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to be all set, and we're going to go down there and we're going to find new things. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, we're gonna go down there and we're gonna find out who's doing things and things and things, and we'll see if we can get one where Donovan doesn't blow his own brains out, because I don't know. How is there enough space for all of this? Let's find out. Let's move forward. Go into the boat. Das Boot. Guys, I don't know. Actually, this may only be like a 5-minute episode. But it'll be interesting. Alive? Yes, he is alive! Donovan, you look jacked up, boy. Alright, so what we're gonna do when we get there... Yeah, blah, blah, blah. We have a gun! Get down! You know, if that gun's waterlogged, then that's just not gonna be good. So we're gonna go for a different ending here. And what we're gonna do is we need to take over Zhu first. And... that would be the right option. Aren't you curious how we got down here? How we got a master key? Does it tell me who the killer is? Now, we need to... Man... Maybe we should, yeah, we should say that one. It was anonymous... that word, anonymously given to us for the purpose of framing Gwen, so you don't know where it came from or who originally possessed it. One of my tasks was to take the original master key and keep it in my room. Wait. No, the person that gave us the key has been bribing staff for a long time. That's the one that we needed to say. Well, that sort of helps. So the killer had long established arrangement with this ship, but for what purpose? Okay, and... Now we need to take over Mercurio and... what if you're wrong about this? Explain. What if your profile or whatever is wrong? Let me see, because we need to talk about... I have it on very high authority that the person mapper is a man. It's not much to go off of, but it narrows things down. Well, what if there's no serial killer on board? What if there's something else completely? The serial killer is on board. Paulo's injuries match up with his previous victims, and that information is something few people would know. Maybe I didn't find the captain, but I was still right all along. Okay, so we need to figure out... There's no endgame, this is it. Don't be ridiculous, I'm not going to shoot everybody, just most of you. Wait, am I supposed to fully take him over? He was supposed to talk about... Huh. Okay. Having someone down here for the purpose of framing Gwen. Maybe this is it. One of my tasks was to take the original master key and keep it in my room. Well, I hope you were paid well. Besides, the decision to steal the key started a long chain of events that ended in me being shot and Paolo irreversibly crippled. You are a massive idiot. Who else helped our killer? You should probably speak up now. Why would they... He was supposed to be able to say something. Oh, I took bribes from the same person Sue did. That's what we were supposed to be able to say. Fantastic. We have a second accomplice. And what were you bribed into doing? And by whom? I was the one that received the second copy of the Master Key. It was sent anonymously, I assume. Do you have any idea who sent it to you? No, I don't. It was dropped off in the middle of the night. Well, not long after I'd been disposed of. That must have been the killer. I had instructions to plant the key in Gwen's room under the order of suspicion. It's a good thing that that didn't stick, but if they were trying to distance themselves from this, why abduct the kid too? Those two actions seem to go directly against each other. They must have taken the kid before they sent the key, obviously, so it was completely intentional. You're right, there was no accident there, but it seems like a contradiction. If the plan was to give away the key and lay low, why take an additional victim? Something's missing from this. Okay, so now... I fully control anyone. Mercurio was feeding people down here with kitchen stock. That would answer the question of how these people have stayed down here for so long. How do you know he was doing this? Let's see. We have there was notes in the cupboard of the supply. He was being bribed. Bribed by who? We don't know. All the payments and instructions were anonymous. And in all this time, you never pieced together who it was? It's been different people over time. It was all extremely organized, zero loose ends. Not zero, I'm still here. Maybe it's this and the captain had found out. So the captain was on what you were to what you were doing, and then soon after, she was gone. Even if you are as ignorant as you say, you undeniably had motive to silence her. No way! You're not really thinking that I... Come to think of it, all of this is just evidence that you were responsible for this operation. There's almost no evidence anyone else was involved. That's ridiculous. Look, there's no way it could have been me. Then who was it? One of the passengers. I know that much. So you were holding out earlier. You better think and talk fast. When the captain arrived, things changed. The way I received messages, they told me to do. The person that changed, giving me orders changed. It gave me some hints as to who they were. How did the way you received the... Okay, so this is kind of where it branches, I think. The orders have changed. The notes I received were usually slid under my door while I was on shift. That way I could never see who it was. It was discreet enough. Recently, though, the orders have been placed in the broom closet. It's strange because it's an unnecessary risk. What if someone else found those notes? Is that the one I do too? Before the ship departed, before everyone had even boarded, I was instructed to leave a boarding ramp out overnight. This would have allowed anyone to get on and off board without anyone knowing. They could smuggle anything or anyone on board. Here's the thing, at that time, all staff was already on board, so the only reason I'd need to leave the ramp out is if the smuggler wasn't staff. They were a passenger. Exactly. Alright, so... and here we go. The camera footage on your computer shows something important. How did you find that out? My computer was password protected. Well, what are you talking about? I never caught anything incriminating. I wasn't able to hide cameras on the first floor, which is where which was the most important thing. Mercurio said that he was getting orders from the broom closet. Who was seen regularly going in there? Hold on. Mercurio said before this boat trip he got orders slid under his door. Why did that change? Why now? I wonder if the smuggler realized I had bugged the ship. If they were seen sliding notes under the door of staff, it would alert me. I would investigate. So they disguised their correspondence with something innocuous. Something like cleaning up after their cat. Mercurio was going in and out of the closet, per his usual need to clean the kitchen, but so were you, Garv. As it happens, I was. Anything to add to that? Not really. I have a litter box I need to regularly clean out. You were the only person besides Mercurio who was going in and out of there. You were orchestrating this. That's a lot of conclusions to draw from such a small detail. Well, how do you explain all those notes? How those notes got there? I'd say that Mercurio's making this up to cover how suspicious he is. Maybe if he can tie a detail to someone else, he'll be okay. If you have to admit there's nothing concrete tying me to anything he's talking about, that doesn't mean there isn't anything. It just means I haven't found it yet. I will. No, you won't. Not if I'm innocent. Now, however, we can fully take over Garv, and we can get him to confess. You what? I was sending Mercurio instructions using the closet. When considering the camera footage, that's the only real possibility. So you knew about all of this? You were bribing the staff to cover this up? Yes, and when the captain got too close, I shot her. Was that a moment of remorse? Wait, what? What's going on? You were just telling us how you murdered the captain. What? I'd never say something like that. I mean, I never... Getting cold feet. We all heard you. I don't understand. It makes sense, given the camera footage I have of you, and Mercurio's testimony. The evidence points to you secretly bribing the staff. They were helping you keep this place a secret. The captain must have begun to figure out what was happening, so she had to be killed. And then, when I got too close to finding this place, I had to be silenced too. Whatever you heard, it doesn't matter. This is clearly not that simple. If you were right and I killed the captain, why is Paulo down here alive? There's no reason I could have done all this. Anyway, has it occurred to you that I might be a scapegoat? And anyway, what is all of this? Where are we? What is all this about? I'm starting to understand all of it more and more. The correspondence with the staff, the way this ship was run, it all points to one thing. This is a cargo ship for humans. On the upper decks, the ship ferries passengers from place to place as a cruise ship, but it's all just a facade. The real passengers are here on the bottom deck. They're why we're all here. Loaded and unloaded in secret, drugged, beaten, and broken down so they can be shipped off and sold. I've seen this before, sex trafficking, but I've never seen it this organized. To think this has been happening here this entire time, I want to vomit. I don't know what to say. Look at the evidence. There must be some other explanation. Me, responsible for all this? No. Someone, reason with him. This is absurd. Honestly, I was starting to have my suspicions that it was you. What? No, don't listen to him. He's a madman. He's holding us all here hostage. I knew there was something wrong with this ship. I had no idea what it was this sick. Garv, is this true? What could drive you to do this? Don't you all act like you're above me. People, you're all the same. You think you're so principled, but given the opportunity, you do the same. Liars, murderers, thieves, crooks, all of you. What gives you the right to judge me? And I can see what you really are. People are just animals, vile, desirous creatures. People, you aren't any better off on your own, slaves to your base senses and ridiculous emotions. Why, this whole operation wouldn't even be possible if you people honestly didn't want it. Look, I know what you really want. Well, you can get a cut. Fair's fair. You have no idea how much money this brings in. I can make you fucking rich. It's the kind of money that can change your life, fix all your problems forever, and all you have to do... die, scum. Oh. Huh. Here we are, safe and sound. Please be careful as you exit the ship. Good thing it only took a couple hours and multiple tries to dock. Where'd you get your license anyway? Well, the important thing is we're here, right? The authorities should arrive in a few hours. They'll be able to take care of all those people. Was Donovan telling the truth about why they were there? Human trafficking? Sexual slavery? I've heard of those things. But to see all of them with my own eyes... so cruel. Garv didn't even blink at the thought of what would happen to those poor women. Of course not. He had been drugging and beating them. He knew what he was doing. It was happening under our feet this whole time. And we let it, enabled it. He was right about that part. I helped create that. That's the truth. Perhaps. But now you know the truth, and you can work to fix it. Whatever our faults and whatever my faults, Garv was the real evil. I'm sure the captain was here. She'd be pleased. She'd have closure at last. I love how the endings give little hints to other endings. Because he goes, yeah, even though our faults, my faults. So what happens now? I guess that depends on the police. Well, yeah, what I meant was, what are we going to do? Oh, this is a whole nother thing. We've seen this. My headset's on my ear. Not right. And it hurts. The music in this game is really good, by the way. Come on. I think this next part's going to be the differing one. I hope you're faring well, miss. I'm glad all that dreadfulness is now behind us, aren't you? Sure. My heart breaks for the captain, Donovan, and that poor boy, but at least there was justice in the end. You don't really care, huh? Your face makes all the right expressions, but there's no emotion there. It's a mask. You act simple, but the truth is you know exactly what you're doing, don't you? You're just like him, and for the same reason you could see through me, I can see through you. Haha, I guess that's all the fun I'm going to have with you. For the time for me to move on. Have a good life, miss. Yeah, I like how the endings give you what you should know. So that was the ending where you have Garv confess. Now there's one more ending we can get, and I'm going to do that now. So this is just going to be a little bit of a longer episode. We're going to get the last one. And we're going to have to skip through all this. Because we should have done everything to get this ending. And then the way you would get the other ending is if you didn't do... You had to have someone talk to somebody at the end of Chapter 4. And if you had them talk to them and say a certain option, you get one ending. And if you have them not talk, you get a different ending. So let's get this second ending underway. And I just noticed it is like all women. I thought it was just, it's like human trafficking, just people. Alright, so what we're going to do here is how we're going to start this one off, is we take everything that we've done before in the other endings, like who says what, and you kind of combine them. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Quella talk about the bracelet. But the room was off if it's how'd you get in there? Shut up. What do you want? What'd you find? I found a bracelet of Mercurio's on his dresser. It had blood on it. Wait, we talked about that. It wasn't what it looked like. You better have a really good story. What were you doing there, Mercurio? It wasn't... I wasn't there. Not then, at least. My bracelet was taken by that stupid cat and must have carried it around and dropped it in that kid's room. So they're going to talk about the bracelet and how Mercurio... where it ended up going. So we have... he gave... You have to say that he gave the cat the bracelet. And... because you needed the cat to be quiet and leave you alone. Yeah. So... okay, so let's see. Gwen's room. They talk about he was wearing Gren's room. Alright, so the next... we've read all this. Again, we're just going in circles. Now... wait, did I just screw it up? After the meeting, Mercurio planted the key before Apollo was taken. Oh, okay, so now... now, okay, we said that. I think this is... okay, now we need to... talk about Mercurio feeding the stock. And then... let's see... let's just do this. The captain had found out. Motive the silencer. No way. Really thinking that I... come to think of it, all this evidence that you're responsible for this operation. There's almost no... okay. Then who was it? One of the passengers, I know that much. Yeah, okay, so we did this. Now the orders change. How did... recently I thought they were okay. So now we need to talk about... do we do this one too? the camera footage. Talking about never saw anything incriminating. Orders from the broom closet. This basically, we've talked about that other stuff. Now we need to talk about... I think I'm doing this right. I have no idea. Alright, so we have to get Garv to... The details behind Paulo's abduction make it clear that what the staff had to be behind it, but the details of Mercurio's orders make it clear that he was colluding with one of the passengers. This is an obvious contradiction, and there's only one explanation for it. I'm actually after two people with different motivations and methods. Was I given bad information? If I was, it means that I can't know anything for sure. If I can't find out who both of them are, that leaves only one option for me. Oh, okay. I thought I was gonna go crazy. See, but this is where we have him confess. When considering the camera footage, that's the only real possibility, so you knew about all this. You were bribing the staff to cover this up. Yes, and when the captain got too close, I shot her. Now... Now we're still able to talk, because he knows we're after two people. So now... we take over Gwen. And I told someone I saw your room. Ferdinand knew. Wait, you told him you saw what you saw in my room? And just what did you see in my room? I saw the master key and I told him, I'm sorry. I expect the person who ambushed me knew I had the master key, and that's how they anticipated me. At that time, Sue knew because I got the key from her, and you knew because you broke into my room. But neither of you fit the profile. But Ferdinand, he fits the profile, and he knew. Why did you tell him? He made me scared. I think he knew that if he did, I might do something rash. That's not what happened. I merely confided in her that the captain was missing. And now I think we're doing this part. I personally disapproved of her actions. They never told her. Even so, you set her against me, and you knew I had the master key. You were the only suspect with that information. Well, perhaps what if she told someone else? What if I told someone else? I've heard enough. I think I finally understand. The person who led me here in the first place, who took Paulo, the person who ambushed me, and the captain who bribed the staff, they were two separate people. They traded information, collaborated. That's how they all were always a step ahead. Who does the evidence point towards regarding Paulo? Ferdinand. Who does the evidence point towards regarding the staff? Garv. But the evidence doesn't cancel itself out. It was both of you, wasn't it? This theory is a bad detour. You said yourself that you were after one person. You had a profile. What are the odds that this killer you were looking for would run into someone they could collaborate with? Sounds unlikely, doesn't it? But I got my info from someone who had been tracking my killer. Maybe the killer expected to be tailed. Is it possible that my target sought out another person that they could hide behind? When Gwen told Ferdinand what she found in my room, he realized I was following him. Then he told Garv, who was able to get the jump on me. With me out of the picture, Ferdinand thought it was safe to target Paulo. At the same time, Garv worked to frame Gwen. I can understand why you'd suspect me, but what you don't know is I helped prove Gwen's innocence. I also helped uncover evidence from Paulo's room. Why would I do all of that? Maybe because it was your plan to get us all here in the first place. My murder was one death too many. It was too much attention. You knew you had to cut your losses, so you cleaned this place of any evidence tying you to it and set someone up to take the fall. But Gwen wasn't the scapegoat. It was Ferdinand, wasn't it? The evidence in Paulo's room incriminates him, not you, and the evidence here does the same. Everyone would uncover the pieces of truth he left behind and accept the story that I had given them of the serial killer. Am I right? Yeah, totally. That's the same crazy detective work. I thought the idea of using Gwen as a patsy was kind of flimsy, but Garv insisted. I guess it makes sense now. The fuck are you talking about? I had nothing to do with any of that. Sure you did. You told me that Donovan had been taken care of and that you'd incriminate Gwen with your copy of the Master Key. Ha! I bet you knew the whole time that they would figure out it was such a plan. You're a sneaky old bastard. Shut up, this man is crazy. I don't know what he's talking about. You know exactly what he's talking about. You were gonna sell me from the start after how much I had helped you? How rude. You brought a Fed onto my ship and you tipped off the captain. That was blackmail, not help. Well, yes, okay, but I also helped you get rid of the captain and the Fed, so isn't it like a wash? Shoot him! Oh. Look, he's the one you've been after this whole time. He's the one you want. If you kill him instead of me, I can make you incredibly rich, and you never have to... Oh man, you shot him for real. Nice! You're welcome, by the way. I thought, though I guess that still doesn't really make up for everything else. You have no remorse or shame, do you? Do you feel anything at all? I don't know. Should I? Why do you keep killing yourself, sir? I don't understand why he kills himself. I thought I'd see solid land after all that. Thank God Darrow conducted... Wait. Let's see how this one changes. Authorities should arrive in a few hours. They'll be able to take care of all those people. Once they do, I'm out of here. Both Ferdinand and Garv, the things they did, they didn't even pretend to feel guilt. They made quite the team. A serial killer and a businessman. Hard to tell which of the two was worse. Darrow, Quinn, if you hadn't come forward, who knows what would have happened to us. The information you gave us brought the truth. Thank you. I remember having help along the way more than once. Thanks, Quella. I just wish Donovan was still here. He didn't deserve to end like that. The captain didn't either. Yeah, if it wasn't for them, we never would have found out what was really happening. It can't all be fixed. A lot of it was to take time, but we can start to make things right. There won't be any more victims now. The nightmare is over. And let's see what happens. I think it's probably just going to be the regular conversations that they had. So what happens now? I guess it depends on the police. Yep, okay, this is... Let's see what happens if we get anything different. Well, we got this one. Yeah, okay, that's normal. Now I think this will be the different one. Maybe. Well, I gotta hand it to you. What? Why? Figured out what that bastard was up to, Ferdinand. And as much as I've tried to keep my ear to the pavement, I had no idea about him. I don't know about that. The reason I knew anything was because he used me. He knew I could be manipulated, and he used my fear against me, against everyone. Maybe, but you stood up to your fear, even when everyone was against you. Part of you was able to see the truth, right? Look, I'm a rotten person. I've had some really messed up priorities, and I've done some stupid things. If you can inspire a script like me to do something right, you're onto something. Here, take this card. It has a number on it. I've never used it. Maybe you can. I'm rooting for you. And that's the end. I know this episode took a little bit longer, but you got both endings out of the way. That's 4 out of the 5, and I'm just going to consider this one done. So we at least got the good ending, I guess. The good ending where you figured out what's going on with both. I still don't understand why Donovan needs to shoot himself. That doesn't make any sense to me, but oh well. So for now, this game is great. I would suggest playing it yourself, but you've pretty much seen the entire game. But if you like it, play it. It's fun. See if you can get it all in one go. But thank you for watching. I had fun playing. And until next time, you all take care and have a good one.